Hi, friends. You are listening to the EntreEd Talk podcast, where we feature amazing educators and entrepreneurs showcasing how you can bring entrepreneurship into the classroom. We believe entrepreneurship is for everyone. I am your host, Toy Hirschman, and I am so glad you chose to join me on this journey. Let's go. Welcome back, friends, to another fun episode of the EntreEd Talk podcast. I am thrilled today to welcome back my great friend, Bob Fredette. Bob is a business and entrepreneurship educator working at Lamoille Union High School in Vermont. He also serves as dual enrollment faculty within the Community College of Vermont and so many other great things that I'll let him share with you. Bob has a passion for teaching students how to become productive employees and owners of businesses. At Lamoille, he's created and developed vibrant entrepreneurship programs where students are engaged in the complete process of creating and developing a business, from producing a product to marketing and financial reporting. Students are immersed in the business they operate, which we all know makes everything so much cooler. Prior to teaching, Bob operated and managed multi-purpose health club facilities, and he brings all of his awesome real-world perspective and experience to the classroom. Welcome back, Bob. I'm so excited to have you back.
Oh, thank you, Toy. I'm so excited to share all the great things that are happening at Lamoille Union High School.
I'm excited and I love Bob so much, but even better, we are also being joined by three of his students. They are the Colorful Creations Company. If I said that wrong, I am sorry, but we have with us Dane, Annalie, and Alex. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We're so glad you're here today.
Thank you for having us.
I love when students come on. You guys are so much fun. This is awesome. So why don't we kick this off, and why don't we have Bob, do you want to just expand a little bit more on your background and anything new that you're doing since we talked last back in episode 35, about 100 or so episodes ago?
To even think that it has been like 2 years since we first met at EntreEd, and how fast it has gone by, and with everything that has changed too in the process, it's just amazing to think about. EntreEd was a life-changing, professionally changing, experience for me. So I'm so thankful that I went and was able to present about our program. Our program started, again, to think back, like, wow, it's been almost 4 years since we started this, entrepreneurship journey of students really being hands-on with the business. And I think it transformed the way we teach and students learn business. Having that opportunity for them to learn business by actually making products, going through the sales process, all of the things that they do to experience learning makes it authentic. And I think that is the really important word is authentic experiences. When students have authentic experiences, the learning becomes deeper.
Absolutely. We totally agree on that one. It's just really, it's amazing, and how powerful just having students immersed in their work is, both in motivation and in the level of learning. It's really incredible.
I think also to add for people who are listening, to be an advocate for starting these programs, because it builds community within your school. We are starting to explore the opportunity of actually having a full store concept within the school now. About 8-10 years ago, school stores were phasing out because of the health considerations. People weren't buying, gums and whatever have you in there, and understandably. But what we've done is we have now started to build a concept that has the products that are within that store are going to be made by students here. And it's not a retail environment. It is, but the retail supply is going to come from us and our kids and what we can do, right? And so I think this whole idea of building community within the school is something we're trying to focus on right now through events. We just held Trick or Treat Street, which was this kind of event to open up the fall businesses where they could present their products and sales and that sort of thing. And now we're looking at next week having a Lancer, because we're the Lancers, Lancer Giving Parade. And so what we're going to be doing is having a parade of businesses. They'll be designing their spaces as floats, like a parade. And we're going to be generating food donations to the local community food share. So, I think these are the things that make the program really what it's about, right? And it's not just about the money. The money's good because we have started a couple business scholarships for kids that have gone through the program, and we've increased that to 2 this past year, and I'm hoping that maybe we could get to 3. But really we're financially sustainable. The school pays no money for our program. We put money in. The kids are pricing and selling their products. So we're able to do a lot of good things with that money and in events, and I think that's really what the community piece is what we're focusing on right now.
That's awesome. That is so cool. I'm so glad you're able to do these things amidst all of the craziness that's happened in the last year and a half or 2 years. I don't even know how much time it's been.
Yeah.
Wow, that is just wonderful. I'm so glad. And ladies, I would love to hear from you what you are. Tell us all about Colorful Creations and how it got started and what you do, and then even a little bit about yourself, but you can start off talking about the business.
Okay, so last year, Dane and I were in one of Mr. Fredette's classes, and we started Colorful Creations as kind of a side hustle during our class. We started by just making candles, different scents, colors, things like that. This year, back, Anna Lee was able to join us, which was very exciting. And we've expanded to exploring some more products such as stickers and labels and even some air fresheners. And it's just been a really cool process to go through.
Cool. So why this class? What made you decide to get involved with this specific class?
So last year, we joined Mr. Fredette's financial independence class because we thought it was a really interesting thing that was teaching real life skills that we'll learn, that we'll use for the rest of our lives. And through that, we discovered his business startups class, which again just teaches so many important life skills that we are just learning so much from.
That's awesome. How much more fun is his class than the other classes that you have to take? You don't have to answer that.
I do think it would be great for you guys to show Toy what you made behind you, and they have some product, I think, just to see kind of what they've been doing.
Yeah, I saw behind them whatever table would look like it was.
Yeah, so we have all of our products here. So these pink ones, we've been doing a breast cancer awareness promotion with them.
Oh, wow. Is that a candle?
Yes. Yep. These are all candles.
Cool.
We had some Halloween favorites. We did a candy corn, which was super fun to make. We had some pumpkin. Some of these are our Christmas selections that we're starting to get into. We've really been trying to do some holiday specials with all of that.
Wow. Thank you for putting my name on the board. I'm going to have to take a screenshot from this so I can show it.
That's right.
That's really amazing. So who's your best customer?
Oh, so yeah.
Demographic.
So we've actually done. Actually, Dan, you talk about the students and stuff. And the teachers.
Well, we have a few different students that really like our candles. So we've sold a bunch of those to them. And especially like the teachers and like faculty people, they have bought some candles and yeah.
Yeah, we've had teachers from the high school, from the tech center, some paraeducators. It's been really cool to see all of the staff be interested in our product.
That's nice. So what made you decide, I mean, you said that you started this last year. What made you decide to do candles? Is this already a passion, or did this become a passion after you started? How did that happen?
I mean, when we were in Mr. Fredette's class last year and we just like kind of started making a couple candles, we like realized that it was really fun. And he kind of brought up the idea to us that this year we could do that as a whole class and we could make profit to help support the Lancer ships.
I like that. That's hard to say, Lancer ships. That's awesome. What's been the most rewarding part and what's been the most challenging part of running your own business?
Okay. The most rewarding part has been yeah, sure. The most rewarding part has been all the life skills we've been learning.
Yeah, and really being able to put those skills to good use, and through the sales that we've done, through the advertising we've been learning about, it's just been really good to be able to see all that come to life and see how it works.
I think the most challenging part of it actually been the candle wicks.
Yes.
Because we have gone through like 3 different types of candle wicks, and the first ones just like didn't burn right, and the second ones we had problems with. So now we're hopefully finding good candle wicks.
Yes.
But, yeah.
Learning all the different tricks to the different parts of our product.
Yeah.
That's interesting. So I would have never thought that was something you would need to even worry about. That's really interesting. I know I did try to make a candle one time in like middle school maybe, and I burnt my face. So but that's really interesting. So now what I would have said probably if I had a business, the most rewarding part would have been the money.
Well, ironically, Dane and Alex are going to be doing an independent study next semester with this class. And one of the new and creative ways Bob is looking at trying to do something as a pilot is they are going to have a business account. So the whole part of them running the business will start in January completely. We're going to go over some details about how profits are distributed and things like that, but they're going to be given an expense account basically that says, okay, this is how much money you have available to you. How are you going to manage your business moving forward? And see how it goes. I think the real learning will be like, hey, I have to be careful about what I spend. Like we have this much in the bank, or things like that are going to come up. Some of the stuff that doesn't come up right now will. And so as a pilot and a test, they're going to be able to have complete autonomy for the first time. Yeah.
That is so cool. You are just a maverick.
I believe in kids, right? And I believe in their ability to manage things And sometimes that learning process means that they make mistakes, and it's okay, right? And so why not?
That's right. Why not? That's so cool. So are you guys going to try to do e-commerce with the candles and try to sell them online or or expand your reach? Have you thought about that?
We've briefly discussed it. We'll probably look into that in the future and just explore some options there.
Cool.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this question. Because you've gone through this experience and you legit have a business, do you feel like you're more confident to start a business IRL sometime in the future? Do you feel like because of this experience, you might be less afraid to start a business in the future?
Yeah, actually, I've actually considered making an Etsy business because of this.
Yay! I didn't know a whole lot about Etsy because I can't even draw a stick figure or be creative in it. but I got to meet a lady from Etsy, and they have some amazing resources for business owners. So good for you. That's awesome. You can let me know when that launches. You can put me down for some product. That is so cool. Are you excited about that? Like independent study, that's unheard of in high school.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really excited. I can't speak for Alex. I'm sure she's very excited.
Yes.
But I think it's just going to be really fun, and we can really make a lot of candles and really get down to it.
And really see all sides of the business and how everything works, not just some things.
That is so, you're going to learn so much from your success and your experience. And even if you fall on your face, you'll still learn a whole bunch, but I don't think that's going to happen.
No, it's not.
That is so cool. So what's your best seller?
We made a apple cider candle for the fall time. That one was a hit. A lot of people liked that. We sold out of that one pretty fast. A lot of people also liked our candy corn. We actually made like a candy corn for those were a really fun one to make and to sell because it was so unique. People really, really enjoyed it.
That's awesome. So Bob, how many student businesses do you have right now?
There are eight businesses running right now. There's the Colorful Creations, which they primarily focused on the candle product, but they also do labeling, and I think we're going to do some hand sanitizers again with them. And let's see here, we have a sublimation business where we're creating personalized ornaments and water bottles and stuff like that. And then we also have the t-shirt business, which does the apparel. And then we have actually a resin company that is just starting, and they're doing resin products like earbud cases, pens, bookmarks, coasters. They're going to be really cool. And that was a whole process for learning with them, in that the resin didn't dry clear, and it took us weeks to figure out like why it was foggy. And that's part of the whole hands-on approach, like going through the process of like figuring out like something isn't working, why, right? We have a couple jewelry companies, and they're both really kind of different in a sense that they have different styles, right? So they're different designers. And we also have a 3D printing company that is doing game products. So like if you were doing gaming in your classroom, for example, you can get a pack of like 4 pods, dice, and a set of cards, right? So like if you wanted to and we can make them in different colors, different sizes. We did some stuff with the library with holding up a book for reading and things like that. And so, yeah, and that's the other reason why I love this class is that the variety of businesses and the different products, and each business is kind of learning its own processes, and it each has its own way of calculating profit because of the materials that go in it. And so, I mean, I get to learn too in the process, and a lot of times I learn from the students different things that I didn't know. So, and I also love being in a classroom where kids are engaged. Like when they come into, like, I haven't written a lesson plan for this class in forever. You know why? Because they're just like right in it. Like that's what they do. Like they come into class and they're going right to their business workstations and they're doing whatever they need to do. And I just check in. And if I have a few things I have to cover before class, I do. I mean, I do teach a little bit, but you know, really what it comes down to is like we're learning as they go. And so each business is at a certain point, and maybe it's this business is ready for financial learning about their product, and this business is ready for marketing, right? And so I try to tailor what I do in the classroom to meet the needs of that particular, you know, student and business. So giving students the autonomy is where what it's really about.
It sure is. I love that you're doing this because what you're doing, a lot of educators feel it would be very frightening to do because but what's funny is you said the perfect thing because you talked about lesson plans because they think, oh my gosh, 8 businesses, that's like 8 separate classes. That's like 8 separate sets of plans. That's But it goes back to that idea of the very annoying education rhyme. don't be a sage on the stage, be a guide on the side.
That's right.
But it's that idea of just letting them have that autonomy and that's the definition of student-centered learning, differentiation. You just name the buzzwords and you've got them all covered. So it's so great that you're able to do that. I just think you've probably learned more from them than they most of the time. I can't imagine I'm thinking, I bet you're fun at dinner parties because you know a little bit about, I didn't know what resin was. Okay, I have no idea what resin was. I was scared you were going to ask me a question about it.
Well, one of the things that I do want to do, if we ever have another chance, well, we can have any chance that we want, but the next time we Zoom up, we can do a video. And what I'd like to do is set up all the businesses and kind of just give like this little viewing tour and be like, hey, and then you could ask each business a little question and we'll do something like that.
Oh my God, that would be so fun.
Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
I can't wait. Just go ahead and set that up.
Yeah, we will definitely do that for sure. I thought that the candle business was one that you could get a lot of information from. They worked really, really hard. They are in class, you know, doing things in the morning before classes and staying late and doing all the things that they need to do to build their business. So I thought that they would be able to provide you with a little bit of insight as to what the class looks like.
That is awesome. You can tell that you all have worked so hard. That's so beautiful. I wish that we don't have video for the podcast. We have it here, but I will find the picture in the video and post it somewhere so everybody can see your stuff is beautiful.
Mm.
Thank you.
So ladies, given your experience with this class, and I don't want you to call out another class, but how have you felt like, what is it that motivates you to come into class early and stay and have this real personal interaction with this class and with your product?
It's just so interesting being hands-on, and you know, we have plan for every time we come in. There's always more that we can be doing. We can always be improving our product, our business, ourselves. And it's just so interesting to be doing something hands-on and learning about it so frequently that we just enjoy it so much. We just always want to be in here. We don't want to leave the class.
I wouldn't want to either. It looks amazing.
As-
I have a question. Have you I think you have already done a lot of the financial exploration behind your especially since you're going into this independent study. Every time that I work with students in entrepreneurship, that financial piece is the hardest thing for students to grasp. And most of the time we'll have students that are really excited because they can sell their product, or they make something, they can sell it for $25. And then you ask, well, how long did it take you to make that thing? 4 days. So, but that financial literacy of, this isn't a sustainable business the way that it is, doesn't resonate as much as it probably should. So I'm just wondering how you've worked through the finances and figured out how you're going to sustain the business if you take you could take this independent study and carry it on into college or wherever it is that you go next and keep it going if it's super successful. So have you thought about what have you done to kind of plan the financial piece of your business?
It's definitely one of the more challenging things, but it's really, for me at least, it's really interesting to see how much money and effort we put into certain parts of the product to create the product, and figuring out our profit, how much we should charge. I actually find that really interesting, and it just it's just such a good life skill that makes a lot of sense going forward with selling anything. And it's just motivates us to keep making our product better and keep making the money from our product, because we know how much we put into it and how much we can get out of it.
I love it. I'm so thankful you guys are here and able to share this with me. So I have a question for Bob. What would you tell, I asked you a version of this question the last time, but what would you tell an educator out there who, whether they have the freedom to do what you've done, if they're maverick like you, or whether they're teaching a more traditional type of class, like a math class or something, what advice might you give to them who, if they're watching or listening to this podcast and they go, oh, that would be cool. How can I bring a little bit of that secret sauce into my classroom? What would you tell them?
I would encourage science teachers, math teachers, the STEM arena especially, find ways to work with kids where they're in hands-on projects that have a purpose. And if it has a purpose, then they will dive in, and especially if it's a purpose that they can identify with, and they will learn the material in a way that will be remembered. And I think that is the key word. A lot of times students can go through class and be like, pass a test, right? And then 3 years later, they couldn't tell you a thing. Right, but they were able to study hard enough. Many of us have done it, right? We've taken several classes and just be like, I just need to get through, right? But in high school, we have the opportunity to create an environment where learning can be remembered. And I think the memory that they create from the learning helps them sustain it, and see how it applies. So go out there, add something to your class, small at first if you're a little concerned, but find a way to do a project with your kids where it has some sort of product involved. Do it as a community service. Do something to give back to the community. And in the process, it built all the things that we talked about will start to grow. We started Lancerships with 9 kids, 1 semester, and 3 of them returned. And we added 7, so then we went to 10, and then it was at 17, and then it was at 22, and now we're hovering at probably 15, and and kids stay, like Dane and Alex and Emily, they're running candle business after this. Like, that's what happens. They keep going. And so we'll get back. It's not necessarily the numbers are that important, but it's just that they will continue to stay because it does has an impact on them, and they want to be a part of it. That's what I found, is that most students that get involved want to stay on because they love doing it. It's not about a grade, and I think that's the happy place, right? Like, it's not about a grade anymore. I just like doing it, and when that happens, you can ask for a better place.
I agree. I love the idea of a relevant purpose, because you're right. That's missing a lot. You could put a stack of calculus books in front of me right now, and I got through all of those classes. I wouldn't be able to tell you the first thing. But because it was just, I needed to get this, I needed to get it done. And I have a funny story I've shared where I went through an entire mechanical engineering degree. And several years ago, my kids' ATV brakes went out and you couldn't get the part. There was just no way. They tried, it wasn't, anyway, this thing was not going to fix itself. So so I learned how to fix a brake system in an ATV, and I'm a little sad that I didn't learn that in an entire engineering degree, but I didn't learn it, and I couldn't have learned it and understood it from a book. And I probably did learn all about brake lines in college, but it was that experience. And now if you brought your ATV over here right now, I could fix it. Or at least parts of it that I learned. But it's just so much more impactful when you have your hands on something and you're working on something that has meaning and purpose. It's so true. So good on you guys. I am excited about Colorful Creations. So I hope you have wild success.
Thank you.
You're
going to have 100 independent studies the next semester.
Okay, yeah. Well, they have done a great job too with the fundraising for the breast cancer awareness program. I think that they didn't give themselves enough credit there. The whole idea with the striped candles and trying to really help support that organization is it's admirable that when students do those things.
That is incredible. Good work.
Thank you.
Well, I don't know if you have a place or somewhere where folks can go to see the candles and learn more and possibly purchase later. I don't know if you have one, but if you do, please share it with our audience and we'll make sure we post it too, if there's somewhere they can go to check it out, if you're not close to the high school.
At the current moment, we don't really have a place for that, but hopefully sometime soon in the future.
Cool.
That's all part of this whole store concept right now that we are trying to really look at the ability to build this e-commerce place and to have the foundation, because I know that once we do that, then we'll be able to sell really a lot more product. And it's this experience for a student too, to be able to build it. Like, we're talking about purpose and we're talking about application. Like, this is where it's at. Like, we have kids in this school that can do that, and who would be like give you 1,000% of their life. Like, or we could go out and hire somebody, right, to build something like that. I'd much rather take the time with where the heartbeat is, right? Because that's going to last forever. rather than pay money to somebody.
That's amazing. Well, that's another student business. There you go.
Oh, it is. It is.
Your first contract.
Yeah, that's right.
That's awesome. Well, Bob, we're kind of coming to the end of our time frame for this podcast. Can you share with folks how they can find out more about you and more about the high school if they so choose?
Oh yeah, sure. If anybody has any questions, our school webpage is luhs18.org. luhs18.org. That's Lemoyne Union High School in Hyde Park, Vermont. And my name is Bob Fredette. My email is rfredette@luhs18.org. I will gladly reply to any email, share any information that I have with you about what we've done, and anything that I can give back to you. I will gladly do that.
Thank you for that. It's always a pleasure having you on. I'm so excited we did it again, but definitely set up that world tour as soon as possible. That would be amazing.
Yeah.
But also, well, I'm so grateful that you've been here today, and so thankful for you, Dane and Annalie and Alex. Thank you so much for sharing with our audience all of the cool things that you're doing.
Thank you so much for having us. We really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Bob, again for connecting me with these wonderful students of yours.